The Sixers didn't pull out a win as a team, but Justin Edwards had a nice bounce back game. Caleb Martin also addresses the $33 million that he left on the table. And Adem Bona continues to bring the injury. We'll talk about that and more next on Locked On 76.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Hi, my name is Keith Pompey. I'm the co-host of Locked On 76ers, and my other co-host is right here, my right-hand man, John Mitchell. We got a lot to talk to y'all about, but today we want to talk about the local guy, Justin Edwards. And the reason why we want to talk about him is because yesterday 2 days ago, he struggled mightily. He wasn't aggressive. He didn't do much of anything in their first game. But then the character of a person is, how do you play the following game? Then the following game, which was yesterday, Justin Edwards came back with 14 points, 5 for 7 shooting. He was 3 for 3 from threes, right? He had like 3 rebounds. He had 2 blocks, and he had 2 steals, right? And he was a +2. But, the guy played a heck of a game. And Mitch, I'm here to tell you, even though the 76ers lost that game, they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies 87-85. It was the performance of Justin Edwards that stood out to me, just because of his ability to bounce back from the previous night.
Yeah, Keith, it was good to see him bounce back and put up those numbers to play a very efficient game. Like you said, 5 for 7 from the field, 3 for 3 from the 3-point line, and he even mixed it up, man. He got whistled for 4 fouls, so he was just a much more active player last night than he was in the opener. And I mean, granted, it's summer league, and guys are going to have ups, guys are going to have downs. You're young, you're making the adjustment to. I don't know how many back-to-back games he played at Kentucky, probably none. So it was good to see him bounce back. It was good to see him play more energetically and to see him more engaged. In the summer league opener, he wasn't very engaged. But Justin Edwards comes with that hype. He's a Philly kid, and naturally, even everybody's rooting for him in Philadelphia. You want to see the local guy do well. And again, it's an interesting situation for him because this is a guy who was McDonald's All-American. This is a guy who many people, this time a year ago said, yeah, Justin Edwards is going to do his 1 year in college. And then he's going to move on to the lottery pick. Well, the first round went, no Justin Edwards. Second round passed by, no Justin Edwards. Now here he is on a contract, a free agent deal, trying to make this roster. So I'm happy for him, and I just want to see him, continue the momentum that he established last night because, people have been telling me, they said, listen, Justin will get it on track. He has the ability, and I'll be quite honest, I didn't get a chance to see him much when he was in high school. I remember, they played the guys from Camden over at St. Joe's, and I was trying to get over there for that game, and I didn't get a chance to see it. But, the hope is that the 76ers have a diamond in the rough, a guy who didn't show the way he was expected to be able to show at Kentucky, and a guy who can get to the next level and and be a steal. So, but good for him. Good for the Imhotep lineage. Always rooting for hometown folks. And hey, it's on a Wednesday, right? And
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, yeah. And the thing to me is, and I talked about this, so I hate to be repetitive, but it shows character when you're able to bounce back
mhm,
because he was just out there the first game. I mean, granted, he did have a plus 11. He was a plus 11. That was the game best plus 11 in the first game. But when he was just out there, he wasn't bringing anything. And the
right.
fact that either maybe someone said something to him like, look, bro, you got to step up. You got to do something. Or he just took it upon himself and was like, yo, they need this. They need stuff from me. But he basically showed that, and again, it is summer league, but he basically showed that he could play. You know what I mean? In this one, and he can, like I said, a lot of character, bounce back, to do certain things. But he did well. I personally, I would have liked to see Ricky Council continue that
Oh,
hot streak
yeah.
that he was on. You look at him; he's a guy. His shot wasn't really falling. Maybe he could have kept some of them from
Right.
from the day before. But he shot 2 for 9, one for
Yeah.
5 overall. And then it's weird because like Jared McCann is one of those things where his 3-point shot was there, but
Mhm.
the other shot wasn't there. It was like he went you know 3 for 7
Yep.
on threes. He was 0 for 3 on 2-point shots, right? But this one dude who's everybody's going to talk about is Aluna,
Yeah.
TV Aluna, right? 7 for 9, Mitch, from
Yeah.
the field in 17 minutes.
Big man.
7 for 9, yep. Big man, 7 for 9. But and then, so I feel like, he played a heck of a game. So that was a solid performance for him, to go out there. And for him, the good part is, he's a guy that can put himself on the radar for teams looking for people. Maybe,
Mhm.
the G League team or a two-way or a lot of things. So he stepped up as well. He really did.
Yeah. And the guy, we kind of keep an eye on obviously is Jeff Dowden. He
Yeah.
out 18 points, 6 assists. I guess it was his quasi Ricky Council moment, Ricky Council, the fourth moment. He was going to, I've got some run in this league. Let me show you what I can do. I'm coming off of a season where I was on the NBA roster. When he came out, 18 points. He was a plus 12. So, I mean, again, it's summer league, man. You're looking for little things from these guys. I was glad to see, Adem Bona, who I like, showing some, again, showing his athleticism. Although he did pick up 6 fouls, he also blocked 5 shots. And, his offense wasn't working for him, but we saw that he can get to the free throw line and he can stroke it. He was 6 for 6 from the line. So it's the little thing. It's the little things you're going to notice during the summer league. You're not going to put too much emphasis on it. And yeah, I will admit that I was glad to see McCain. I mean, he was just 3 for 10 overall, but those 3 shots were all 3-pointers that we know he can make, and he had 4 assists. So again, it's a summer league. We'll be back for it tonight to see what these guys look like. And it's a building block. You want to see a guy come out like Ricky Council. I kind of saw almost enough out of him in that game, in that opener. The 29-point effort, 18, 19 points in the fourth quarter. I'm really looking at the younger guys, the boners of the 76ers, the Justin Edwards and the McCains. I want to see what they, that's where my curiosity lies.
Yeah, I don't need to see Ricky Council again.
I know.
Maybe one more game, maybe one more, but that's it. That's it. That's all I need to see from him.
Yep. So, we might talk a little bit, maybe a little bit more about our man Ricky Council after we talk a little bit about the Game Time app. Hey man, are you trying to get tickets to go see the Philadelphia Phillies coming off a 10-1 crushing of the Los Angeles Dodgers? You want to make some memories at Citizens Bank Park? Listen, Game Time is the authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, and it makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. So last minute deals, you can get them. Save up to 60% off buying your last minutes for sports, and not just sports. That's for concerts, for comedy, theaters, anything that's coming this summer that you want to get to. And you can save even more with the exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or the event. And if you want to save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats, then go ahead, be my guest. So what you need to do is take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. So listen, are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Sometimes you have to turn down the volume with all that shouting. Well, if so, why don't you just make the switch to Locked On Sports today? A free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Do it today, people. Definitely do it today. But, Mitch, the one person I want to talk about is Caleb Martin. Yesterday, the 76ers had introductory press conferences for Caleb Martin. The other two guys are guys who, making their second go round with the 76ers. Andre Drummond. And the second one, the last one, is not even like the guy left, right? Was Kelly Oubre Jr., right? But the thing about Caleb Martin, the biggest question, or the thing is, everybody talks about, hey man, what's it like to come to Philly? And it's always the same. Oh man, I think they could win a championship here. Da da da. It's like, you kind of know what they're going to say. Like they always say that. Like even if the team like sucks, the team is like tanking. Well, yeah, I want to be here. I want to be a veteran leader to help this franchise turn it around. But the thing is, but most diehard fans know that Martin could have made $65 million over 5 years by staying with the Heat, right? However, he opted out of his contract and ended up signing a 4-year, $32 million deal with the Sixers. So he was asked about that yesterday by the Philly media. And, some of the things that really struck me was when he said it, he was like, they said, well, what happened with the Heat in your contract offer? And he said, just certain things didn't work. He said, there are a lot of things behind the scenes that went on, but ultimately there was a lot in making that decision. And there's a lot that contributed to how everything went. But past is past, can't do nothing about it. And like I said, I'm looking forward to being here and being a part of Philly and trying to bring everything I can in order to win a championship. So that's my focus. Now, the thing that stood out to me was there's a lot of things behind the scenes that went on. So, was Miami the perfect spot for him as much as everybody says? What happened? Because to me, that's the crazy thing. Now, again, I get it. He is going to move on. And $32 million, that's a lot of cheddar, man. That's a
Yeah,
lot of cheddar, right? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That'll keep
So,
you out of the poor. That'll keep you out of the poorhouse.
yeah, it should, you know what I mean? But then, so that's the thing that stood out to me. Now, another thing is, only if he feels he left money on the table. I mean, yeah, you're always going to wish that you make as much money as you can. You know what I mean? That's part of the game. That's part of life. And you live and you learn and you take risks. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But I'm a true believer in everything happens for a reason. And I feel like I'm here for a reason. One of those reasons is I feel it's a pathway to try to get to a championship. But the thing is, he admitted he took a risk and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is, that's the one thing that he was, he admitted that. But secondly was, it always seems like maybe the situation over there wasn't as good as everybody thought it was.
Yeah, I don't know, Keith, man. That's a lot of money to leave on the table. And I know that he gambled on himself, and hey, and more power to the brother. I don't blame you for it. I mean, I think when I look at that contract, I think the 76ers got him on a good deal. I mean, just watching him in against the Celtics, I was like, hey, this guy. I mean, really focusing in on him. And just having watched him in the past, I think he's a better player than the contract the 76ers gave him. I do. Now, what went on in Miami? We see Miami, we see the palm trees, we see Pat Riley. We know that Pat Riley runs an extraordinarily tight ship, proficient, efficient, and they get the job done. And it was about $33 million he left on the table. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of
That's a lot of money. But I mean, he's young. He's in the NBA. He's not going to be. He's living large. And when I used to talk to certain players, and I never will forget Jared Jeffries, when we were just talking, played for the Washington Wizards back in the day. And he was like, "Hey, John, I got the best job in the world. When this season is over, you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be on my boat, deep sea fishing." Caleb Martin has a chance. Caleb Martin has a chance to play for what is a very legitimate contender. I mean, and we keep talking about the 76ers. We keep talking about them. Oh, yeah, guys, the second round. I think this is a team that can go much further than the second round. I mean, I don't want to neglect the fact that in the 42 games that Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid played together, they were 31-11. They were 31-11 in the games that Maxey and Embiid played together. Now you throw Paul George in there. Kelly Oubre is back. I love Kelly Oubre's game. You bring Andre Drummond back here. Now you bring Caleb Martin in here. You bring a better energy guy. I mean, as much as I like Paul Reed and I like the narrative of let's watch this guy develop, you can get a better player. You can get a better player. And he's an energy guy. He's a better scorer. So and shout out to Paul Reed. I think when he landed in Detroit, good for Paul Reed. But we'll find out now. What's done is done. What's done is done. And that's the other. And you mentioned it earlier, Keith. You're an athlete. There's always tomorrow. You're young enough. He's probably he's in a situation where if the run is the way some people think it will be, he'll look very glossy at the end of this next contract, and who knows what he'll get. So I hope maybe he does have a chip on his shoulder, and I think he does, because there's no way you can look at $33 million and say, man, I don't need that. Again, the brother's not in the poorhouse, but you can do a lot with $33 million more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I definitely can. I believe it. Whew, I could do a lot more with 300,000 more.
I know that's right.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be right back, y'all, after this quick break. John, a guy we spoke about yesterday, Adem Bona, and we spoke about him earlier in this episode. He had another day, another quality day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had 5 blocks yesterday, right?
Yep.
Five of them.
Yep.
And you look at it, he missed both of his baskets, but he went 6 for 6 from the foul line. He had 4 rebounds. He did get in foul trouble. He had six fouls. Um, but the 5 blocks really stood out to me, man.
Yep.
And when you look at a guy, I mean, let's face it, is a Adem Bona going to come in and the Sixers? They're going to say, "Hey, we want to run plays for him." No, they want him to be an energy guy to know his role. He's going to be the third string center. But and he talked about it. I play hard. I play hard. In 5 blocks, that's playing hard, man.
Yeah.
Extremely hard.
Yeah.
And now he did have 3 turnovers. He only had, he had 4 rebounds, but the blocks is what really stood out to me.
Yeah. Adem is he is a guy who, I mean, let's face it, he is going to be that energy guy. He's athletic, he's mobile, he's got good size. He's long. He's got a 7'3" wingspan, and you put that on a 40" max vertical. He's a guy. He plays somewhat of the throwback power forward. The thing you want to see them do is for him to develop more offense around the rim. Get a softer touch on his shots. But let's be quite honest, man. He's a guy who, he's got everybody in front of him. The Sixers have finally fortified their center position. All right, they've got Joel Embiid at the 5. They've got Andre Drummond, who great expectations for. Is probably the best rebounder, easily the best rebounder in this league on a minutes played basis. But the energy that he showed, let's face it, this is a league where you can't always, if your shot's not falling, you gotta do something else to stay on the floor. And when a guy's got a 7'3" wingspan, a 40" vertical, you want to see him go up and get shots and be a rim protector. And he showed he can do that yesterday. So he's another guy. You're watching him and you're wondering how the player development staff is going to work him, bring him along. I have expectations of this kid, man. He's a fantastic athlete. Man, when was the last time you saw, and I complained about this with Joel Embiid a lot. I like to see on a pick and roll. Sometimes I want to see him storm to the basket and extend that 7'2" body and bring the rim down on somebody. But that's just not Joel's game. Is it Bona's game? Yes, that's a big part of his game at UCLA. And it's going to be it's going to be a big part of his game. It's going to be a centerpiece of his game in the NBA until he develops, works on some go-to moves. So we'll see, but the fact that, the 6 fouls just means he's playing aggressively. That's not too concerning for me, but the 5 block shots is 5 block shots, man.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Now, I just want to change the topic a little subject. So tonight, at 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 at night. That's late for the people on the East Coast, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm like literally, if I go out, leave this room and go into the bedroom and look out the window, and I'm gonna look at the arena that they're gonna play at tonight. But USA basketball is going to play Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the U.S. basketball showcase. It's crazy. Today, while we're in Vegas, they want people to wear red, white, and blue for this volleyball tournament, right? So they want people to do it. Fortunately, I ain't pack anything red, white, and blue. I didn't know.
With that wardrobe, you got some red. I see with those red felt top felt hats he used to wear in Frankfurt.
Oh, this guy. But look, here's the crazy part. When you're a reporter, like you want to be objective, right? But it's also your national, it's your country.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still be objective. But anyway, what do you want to see out of Joel Embiid tonight?
Man, you know what I want to see out of Joel Embiid.
Okay,
but let me reiterate. Let me reiterate myself. I want, and I was glad to see Steve Kerr touched on that. I want to see him, and he's going to have to do that. I want to see him play more at the rim. I would love to see some back to the basket. I know that's not the NBA game. I know it's not today's NBA game, but I often, with Joel, I often compare him to guys playing different sports. And I'll compare him to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's game in a passing NFL, Lamar Jackson's game is that he's the most elusive running quarterback, and it's a weapon. In today's NBA, half of these guys don't even know how to defend the post because they don't work against defending the post anymore. It's kind of a lost art. But I think when you have a strength that somebody else that just can overwhelm somebody, you have to apply it. You have to utilize it. So I want to see Joel calling for the ball back to the basket, putting people's asses under the basket. I want to see some of that from him because, let's be honest, it's still going to be the Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. So many weapons are out there, when you don't need for Joel to to be floating around the perimeter. And I think some of the other guys are going to like that because they're going to be like, wow, I've never had a 7-2 guy come out here and do the things he can do. But that's what I want to see him. That's what I want to see out of Joel. I believe that the Olympics for the Dream Team has lost some of its luster. I really do, even though the competition is going to be much better. And thank God the international game continues to come up, and I love that. But for me, and I think for 76ers fans, it's like we take a gold medal. That'd be nice. We get that all the time. But what they would like to do is end that 41-year drought. 76 organization has been in the wilderness longer than the Hebrews had. So it's time for these 76ers to get back to the Holy Grail. And I think part of it will be, I know, in the comments section, please don't try to lecture me on, that's not the game. Nobody needs to know that. We know that this is no longer the game. But I do want to see when you can take advantage of your size advantage. And when you got a 6'8" dude, 6'7" dude playing you, do what the Joker does, make him pay and punish him. That's what I want to see out of Joker. I don't need to see a whole lot of him. I do, but though, I think he ramped his passing game up so much last year, and that was really an aspect of his game. It was a 5.8 assists per game. It's phenomenal for a man like him. So I want to see him learn some more nuances on passing the ball. So that's what I'm looking for out of him. Excuse me for beating your ears.
No, you're right. And but I'll be honest with you, like I want to see him on the block too because that's the reason why he's here. The thing is, he's playing. I mean, they ain't better than the Dream Team. And so people, please get that out of your mind. Like, stop with the BS. They're not better than the Dream Team. Stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, they better hope they can beat France. I mean, if we're gonna be one, right. So come on now. So here's the deal. Like, when he could do that stuff with the Sixers, because it was one of those things where you said, well, we don't have nobody who can stretch the floor. The spacing is horrible. Yep. I got to go out here and I got to do it. Well, you don't have that excuse now. Now you got Steph Curry, you got Ant-Man, you got all these dudes, you got LeBron, you got the whole squad, right? So it's like there's no need for you to be around the 3-point line, trying to stretch the floor and all that. Now, again, there may be occasions where you do it and you could get away with it, but they got you there to deal with them twin towers that France has and to deal with them other international bigs that they have. Now, Now, granted, some of these guys are going to want to go out in the perimeter and stuff like that. So, okay, whatever. But on the offensive end, there's nobody in the world who can stop you one-on-one in the paint. They're
Right.
not going to W. They're not going to do it because if they W, then all of a sudden you're leaving Steph Curry open for a wide open three. So I'm with you. I want to see him on a low block, boom, banging on people, working on post moves, doing all types of stuff. So I'm with you. I agree 100% when it comes down to that.
And Keith, it's a good. Not to cut you off, but it's a good chance for him to be a sponge, man. It's a good chance now for him to be around all that hardware guys with multiple MVP awards and be like, hey man, this is where you earn your bread and butter. Like you said, he's there.
But don't you think it's a little bit too late for him to be a sponge when you've been in the league as long as you get stuck in your ways?
He better unstick his ways, man. Because that could mean we might be back here next summer saying that big three was a failure.
Yeah, yeah. Pressure on PG because he's gonna be the one getting blamed.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. But look, y'all, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Do it today, people. Definitely do it today.
Right.
And I know, right? And look, for my man Mitch, Keith, I want to say thanks for listening, and we'll be back to y'all tomorrow. Peace.
And Keith, make sure you pull out that red, white, and blue brim, bruh.